What's up guys, JP here. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how Fortnite is going to destroy itself. I think there's this big discussion going on right now on YouTube about how Fortnite is going to be is in its downfall, and from here it's not really going to get better, all this stuff. And I don't really think about it until the other day when they said that they're gonna nerf the building, and I'm sure you've heard about it so many times now, but I just think this is ridiculous, because if you think about it, what makes this game good and what makes it fun is how every game is different. Like you won't go into one game and you'll be like having a build battle at the same spot, or just like all this stuff. Building makes it different. Like you won't have the same trees in the same areas because people will knock them down. You won't have builds in the same area. Maybe you run past a build battle in one game and then you go back there the other game and there's absolutely nothing. That's just so I personally think building is what makes this game good and what makes it like different than the other battle royales. And just taking that out makes it feel like it's just gonna be trying to copy other battle royale games like PlayerUnknown's and H1. Without building, this game wouldn't be where it is now, because like I said, it's so different and it's so much more fun than other battle royale games because of the varying and the builds and the difference and just the different things that you could do, and it makes it so much more interesting than the other battle royale games because the building. And to take that away is like giving your community $1,000 and then just instantly taking you. Like it's the game is so fine how it is now. Like they're already starting to make it worse, and they want it to be more varied by taking the builds away, and they want it to be more variety by nerfing the rocket launchers and the grenade launchers. But honestly, to me, that feels like less variety, because they want the fights to go differently. They think every fight is a build battle, which isn't true. Like in this gameplay, you just saw that fight. I just lasered that kid. He didn't build. I didn't build. It was a gunfight from two mountains, and it's fine the way it is. Some people get in a build fight. That means you have a good player. That means it's a worthy fight, and you should get into a build fight because whoever's the better player wins the fight. So I don't see the point in taking that away, especially with the rockets as well, because it's like they want more in the game. Like they want more variety, like I said. But if you take away two of the main strategies, isn't that taking away the variety? Because now if you take away building and you take away the rocket spamming and the grenade spamming, then it's like just AR battles or just shotgun battles at close range, and that's not fun. That's only two ways to play the game. Then they said they want more strategies. If you keep building is a strategy. Sure, it's a meta and everybody does it, but it's a strategy, and just because everybody does it, then that's fine. You don't need to nerf it. And it was like shotguns, because they would nerf the shotguns and because everybody used them, but it's a strategy. You just push with your builds, build higher until you get high ground, and then boom, you get the kill, because that's how the game is supposed to play. Like your game mechanics allow building to be a thing, because in Fortnite, when you have the high ground, it gives you that much advantage. Like if you have high ground, doesn't matter what the person builds, they would have to build up to you before they can even get before they can't get shot at, or they have to cover themselves with a roof or something. They can't, like, if you're above someone, you could just shoot down at them, and if they build a 1x1, you could still just shoot down at them. They have to push up on you, and that's why building is such a big thing, because it's just it gets you high ground, and that's how the game is supposed to be played. go for the high ground, and you get the high ground, and then you win the fight, because that's how the game plays. I mean, it's easier to get headshots from higher up, because that's what Epic did. They made it like that. They want the better player to build above and to get the high ground and then take out the person below. It's how it's supposed to be played. So I don't see the point in getting rid of that whole thing. Like, if they put a resource cap at 500, that's restricting half of the materials. That's only 1,500 instead of the 3,000 that we would usually have. That's literally taking away and giving us half of what we had before, meaning only half a build fight. That's not okay, because then we get not far enough. Like, it'll come down to, like, I don't know. And the fact that they change the resources, like they make trees give you less amounts, that's kind of ridiculous, because they change that, but they don't nerf the vending machines. Like, how are they going to nerf the materials you get, but they don't change the vending machines at all? So they still cost the same, but it's harder to get the materials for them. And that's the same thing with if they put the materials at 500. That's just enough to afford a golden thing from a vending machine, meaning that will take all your resources if you buy something from a vending machine. And that's not how it should be. You should have some for building and some extra from vending machines, because that's just why vending machines are there. And if they are gonna nerf the building, I feel like they should make like a white vending machine, like 50 wood, and then like just up by that, like 100 and then 150. Like, they can't make it 500 materials only and then 500 materials for a vending machine. That's not right. And the whole thing about the llamas, again, I don't see why they had to nerf those. Only 3 in the whole map, and some of them get lost and hidden in trees and stuff, so you will never find them anyway. But I guess they thought they needed nerfed when they really didn't. I mean, when was the last time you were like, oh my god, llamas were so overpowered. They don't give me guns, they don't give me anything, they're so overpowered. They really need a nerf, only 500 or whatever. But it's kind of ridiculous that they nerfed them, because they didn't need to, and I feel like that's the whole point of this. They're gonna ruin their own game. I mean, Epic Games, they've survived so much. Like, they survived lawsuits and a bunch of different stuff, and they still like are one of the best games out there right now. But they're gonna end up destroying themselves, and there's gonna be so many new games, and if Fortnite doesn't fix what they got going on, then nobody's gonna want to play the game. So they're just gonna end up like buying the new games and playing those instead. And look at this fight. Sure, I built once and then he started building, but before that, before I built, we didn't build once. We could have had a full shotgun fight, and still, that's not even that much builds. He just tried to surround himself, which is what building is for. He just tried to protect himself from the onslaught of shotgun bullets that were coming at him, which is fine. That doesn't need to be changed. It's okay. That's how it's meant to be played. That's why we have building in the game, so you can protect yourself. Now, late game, this is kind of where it gets interesting, because in late game, people like to build towers and kind of camp, and that's what, like, why change that? It's completely fine. Even if you're a person that rushes, I mean, you could sit and like, this is the kind of thing. Sometimes you don't have that too. Sometimes you can have a game, like, say it's a 1v1. Sometimes you can have a game ending in an AR fight, in a shotgun fight with no builds, in a build battle, in a sniper battle from each tower, in a rocket spamming battle. But it's been fine. Those are just the many different strategies. So I don't see how taking away those strategies is going to help make more. It just doesn't make any sense. We have, what is that, like, the couple different strategies already in the game, and they work. People use them. People are happy with them. Nobody complains about it, how it's, well, people complain about how it's too hard to get wins, but that's not really, it's irrelevant, because why do Epic Games need to listen to the people who can't get a win and then cater to the bad players that don't know how to build? Like, it's better if they just learn how to build than to cater to the people that can't build. And another thing I want to bring up is the fact that the people who can't build, I mean, that's completely their problem. That's not an Epic's problem. I think Epic, they're just too nice, and they're like, okay, these people can't get a win, so let's kind of help them. Let's kind of take away building or cut it down, so whenever this kind of thing does happen, like they get rushed by a better player, then they actually stand a chance. Which I do understand, but like, there comes a point where you just can't do that, and that's where a lot of games get destroyed, because they try to cater to the noobs more than to like help, like, or keep the game good and fun and new and interesting. And I will say Epic does a really good job of keeping the game good, fun, new, and interesting, but doing this won't help. Like, if they release a gun every week and they release a new feature or something every week, or whenever, it does help keep the game like popular and fun and interesting. But whenever they start to run out of ideas, and then just, because that's what this feels like, I don't like, if they didn't try to bring out a new feature or update every day, I feel like they wouldn't do this, and I feel like they wouldn't try to do this, because I think now they're just running out of ideas and they just want some update to give people. But this one is not it. This one is not what we want, Epic. So don't give us it. Like, we want good, quality, fun. We want a fun game. We don't want a game that we get taught and we learn how to build and then get that completely taken away from us because some people are bad at it. Because it's just annoying. Like, the good players learn how to build and they take time, and I mean, I learned how to build by dropping Moisty, only getting materials and not any weapons or anything, and then only going into a build fight, or just whenever I'd rush someone and then I'd just get into a build fight and see how long I could survive with no weapons and just blocking them off and keeping and staying alive. And that's how I learned to build, and that's how it's a smart way to do it. It's and it took me like 3 days to get good at it, so that's the kind of same steps that people should go through if they want to learn how to build, and they should try to do it instead of like just asking Epic, or Epic just doing it for them, taking away builds, taking away what makes good players good, and just completely giving them something else. It's honestly pretty annoying. Like, I don't know why a game company would want to do that. Like, you want to make as much money as possible, and some people, like, I'm sure some people are gonna stop playing your game if you take away one of their favorite features. Like, it's one of my favorite features. I love the building. It is sometimes annoying when you breathe on someone and they have a castle built up, but other than that, it's like, it's a really good feature, and it's what makes this game fun. So that's probably going to be about it for this video. I just want to talk about it, and if you have any points to disprove me or anything you want to say, if there's any reason why you think that this update's going to be good, putting a resource cap at 500, I think that's what it's going to be, tell me. I want to know. I want to see what you have for me, because I honestly don't see the point in it. So yeah, I think that's gonna be about it. I just don't want this to happen. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me rant. New video tomorrow, every day. Peace.